September 28th, 2014. I posted my first video here on YouTube. It was a review of a game that I bought for 99 cents on Steam called Beyond Gravity. I liked the game. It was pretty cool, and it saw a quick success. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed contributing back to the Linux community, the community that, you know, I love. Today is September 25th, and we're only a couple days away from my 3-year anniversary here on YouTube. I'll tell you right now, I am super excited about that. So I thought I might do Q&A, as it's kind of become a tradition for my anniversaries here. So let's start with Twitter. Attila asks, should the questions be related to a certain topic, or can I go crazy? You can go crazy. Cam Hi, or Ha, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, I apologize. What change would you like to see the most in technology? For me, it's better battery tech, to be honest. More charging cycles and density. What change would I like to see most in technology? In technology in general, I'd like to see more free and open source software be available. I'd like to see more, you know, big game publishers release their games as free software. I wouldn't mind if they kept the assets proprietary, you know, they copyrighted them or whatever, but, you know, the core of the game's technology, it'd be cool to see more open source technology in the gaming world. That's something that I would really like to see. Sanchit Samuel, what are a few things you wish would change in the way Linux does things? I'd like to see more cooperation between projects where there's overlap. Flatpak and Snappy, stuff like that. That'd be, you know, the duplication of effort. If you've ever seen Brian Lunduke's Linux Sucks talk, he goes over a lot of the things that I'd like to see changed. Mostly like cooperation. You know, we have this amazing community of software developers and engineers who, you know, want to create this amazing stuff that we all use on a daily basis, and yet the duplication of effort, you know, the repackaging of applications across, you know, all the different distributions, the rival standards that see, you know, the same level of development. You know, I'd like to see more cooperation. Julian Toledo asks, any plans to change to another distro? And Scott Overdrive asks, what's your favorite Linux distro? So currently my favorite Linux distribution is Ubuntu. I've been considering moving over to Pop OS from System 76. It's not out yet, but when it is, I'm gonna give it a go. I mean, it's based on Ubuntu, and it's using the Pop interface, which is a skin for GNOME 3. I'm pretty interested to see what they come up with. Fabi Voltaire asks, do you have a solution for the bad audio drivers when using the speakers inside any laptop running Linux? No. So I'm using the Yamaha MG10XU mixing board, and this thing does not like having multiple programs using it at once through Pulse Audio or whatever. It has a USB input device in Pulse Audio, and if two applications, say OBS, KdenLive, are running at the same time, they both want access, like direct access through Pulse Audio, and it causes like this weird it sounds like it's running at a different, you know, frequency when two devices are using it. So my workaround for that has been to use the motherboard's analog audio and piping that into my headphones, and then picking up the mixed down audio through this thing. Pulse Audio is a mess. I don't like it. I haven't been able to get it to work exactly the way I want. In terms of your audio driver issues, what kind of device are you using? Like, I know when I had a HP laptop with Beats Audio back in the day, it was almost unusable. You know, I think it was Ubuntu 14.04 maybe. It had the bare minimum. There were two speakers on the top by the screen, and then there were 2 speakers on the front grille, and then there was a subwoofer on the bottom. And with Ubuntu 14.04, I had to do this weird thing with Pulse Audio where every time I started the machine, I had to like run a command, and then only the top 2 speakers here would work. And eventually I could enable duplex support in the Pulse Audio settings, and it fixed the issue, but I don't care for Pulse Audio. I'm hoping that Pipewire becomes like the new standard for audio and video. It looks like it's a more interesting, it looks like a more streamlined design. I haven't read a whole lot about it. I just read an OMG Ubuntu article about it. Any plans to do videos on cool Linux gaming related projects like a RetroArch Raspberry Pi or some weird Total OS conversion? So my plan is I'm gonna start working on the Game Boy Zero pretty soon. I know that I teased that months ago, but you know, schedules being as they are, you know, I haven't got to that project yet. Before I get to that, I have to fix my laptop, which the little power jack just doesn't seem to want to work anymore, so I gotta fix that. But once that's done, it's Game Boy Zero time, and I can't wait. I'm so stoked for that. At Rugalaz asks, how many distros have you tried and why didn't you stick with them? I told this story back in the day when I did my 1-year anniversary, but I'll go over my entire history with Linux. Back in like 2004, maybe 2005, I used whatever version of Fedora that was. They were still calling it Core at the time. I bought an external hard drive, I backed up my entire computer, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna be a Linux guy from now on. And I installed Fedora Core on my computer, and I could not figure out how to play MP3s. When I asked questions, I was told, read the fucking manual, or you shouldn't be listening to MP3s, do FLAC instead. None of that was helpful. So I ended up going back to Windows for a little while longer. Flash forward to like, I think it was Ubuntu 7, maybe? Ubuntu 6? It was right around the time that they started to, it was still brown, and then the release after next was the one where it had like the radiance and ambiance skins. It was still GNOME 2 back then. I don't remember which version, I'm not good with that kind of stuff, but that's when I became an actual Linux user. I found the Ubuntu forums, and that was awesome. I was able to ask questions and get actual answers from people rather than a hostile get the F out. And you know, I found the Ubuntu community to be super welcoming and engaging and approachable. After Unity rolled out, I hopped distros like crazy. I tried Fedora. I think it might have been Fedora 12. I'm not good with the release numbers. I tried Debian. I was really enthusiastic about Debian, and I stuck with Debian for a couple months. I tried Linux Mint. I tried OpenSUSE. Elementary is a great one. Why didn't I stick with any of them? I don't know. I just felt at home on Ubuntu. When Unity was absolutely unusable, I was using XFCE. I ended up using Xubuntu, or Xubuntu, however you want to pronounce it. That's what I used for a very long time. I tried Kubuntu as well, and I can't stand KDE's interface paradigm. It drives me nuts. It feels very much like Windows to me. So I feel the most at home on Ubuntu. I want the operating system to get out of my way. Packages, I don't want to have to like fix things when an update rolls out. I'm not interested in doing any of that. I want the operating system to just work, and I want to be able to do the work that I need to do. Yeah. The Tinkering Corner asks, would you ever troll everyone by changing your name to the BSD Gamer? I've thought about trolling people, like for April Fool's Day. Not changing my name to BSD Gamer, but I've thought about trolling people. Probably, I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I tried changing my name on Twitter to the Linux Gamer C137 because I thought that was funny. But why can't I use my emulators anymore when I use Wayland? That's a good question. From what I understand, and I've never used Wayland, and I'm not an expert on this, applications that, you know, expect to have an X server running don't have compatibility with Wayland. That's my answer. I think that that's correct, but I could be wrong about that. Brian Walsh asks, what are your thoughts on Mac OS? Is this what corporate Unix should be? My thoughts on Mac OS. I wish it was open source. It's based on free software, but it's proprietary, and that just isn't good for anybody. I don't like proprietary software, except for with games, and even then I'd rather see them be free software. And I find myself becoming a little more radicalized every single day, being a Linux user and dealing with just the ridiculousness of closed systems. I hate it. There are a couple questions on Discord. Acor Charlie asks, what Windows games do you want to see on Linux? To be honest, I haven't been following a lot of non-Linux gaming news. Games that I want to come to Linux that are exclusive to Windows would be games that are the most popular, like Overwatch, because at that point there wouldn't be a whole bunch of excuses by people about how, oh, my favorite game, you know, Skyrim, you know, StarCraft 2, or whatever these games are, they're not on Linux and I can't play them, so I'm not gonna migrate over. Now, I find that excuse to be a load of horseshit. I read an article the other day about how something like 70% of the games with the top playtimes on Steam are available on Linux. And so it's kind of like the games that are the most popular on Steam, most of them run on Linux. The games that are still seeing the most playtime on Steam, those are the games that are currently available. Now, a lot of the games that I'd like to see come to Linux are the ones that are played off of Steam, like Overwatch is one of them. Overwatch isn't available. Games that I used to love, like Rise of Nations. I'd like to see the original Unreal Tournament and UTO4. I'd like to see those have their Linux ports that are available made compatible with the Steam runtime and released on Steam. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see old games that I love. I'd like to see games like Age of Empires 2 HD, Bioshock, the original Bioshock. I really want Bioshock on Linux. Nidhogg and Nidhogg 2, those are two games that I really want. But I stopped like following Windows gaming news because it wasn't relevant. And if a game came out for Linux, then I would pay attention to it. Red Knight asks, do you prefer rolling or fixed release distros? Well, Ubuntu is not a rolling release, so and I like Ubuntu, so I'll say fixed released, I guess. I don't know. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I've had a lot of fun with these questions. I hope you guys had a lot of fun with these answers. Stay tuned on twitch.tv/Zondak. There's a link down in the description. I'm going to be doing some fun celebration stuff with you guys over there. I'll be streaming some live commentary tracks for my original couple videos. I think that might be a lot of fun to do. If you guys are interested in that, we'll definitely go ahead and do that on Twitch, just to celebrate, you know, the 3 years that I've been doing this. There are some cringe moments, let me tell you. You can always watch me on Twitch editing my latest video Sundays at noon Eastern time. That's the United States Eastern time zone for those of you outside the US. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you like what I do, you can hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you share this video with your friends. Hit that like button if you liked it. And you can support the channel over on Patreon if you really liked it. I'm the Linux Gamer. Thank you guys so much for watching.